want to work my tail end off, wasting all of my life working just to barely be able to pay my bills. And that is what you created, not Gen Z. We're just here getting started. You've been doing it for the last 20 years. You tell me how it got ruined. We can sit here and we can call Gen Z lazy all you want, but you let the economy turn into what it did. You let it all run to hell. And now it's Gen Z's fault because we don't want to work to fix your mistakes.
Men are chilling as society heads for collapse. Women said, hey guys, we don't need you. We don't want you. So guess what? Men are saying you chose the bear, so now you can go hang out with it in the forest. Watch to the end of the video to fully understand the implications of men walking away, chilling, and just watching as society heads for its indefinite collapse. And now let's just go ahead and jump right into the videos.
This is the first month I won't be able to afford rent. I'm not a rich person. I don't have a lot of stuff. I have basic household necessities, a couch, a bed, washer, a dryer. That's about it. A car. I don't have a lot of lavish things. I don't go on vacations and I don't spend a lot. Rent's increased from $1,300 to $1,800. The food prices are too high. I've cut back on eating because I literally cannot afford food. I've cut back on my favorite snacks, cat food, treats. I'm exhausted all the time from being overworked and underpaid. You don't catch a break when you grow up poor. I don't need much to be happy. I just want to be able to live comfortable. I just really need to catch a break right now. I'm trying so hard and I feel like I'm not doing enough. I don't have family. I don't have anything to fall back on.
You see, guys, where we're heading right now is a very interesting place where so many women are going to turn around and say, women's liberation lied to us. Women's liberation told us that we could be boss-based, we could be independent, that we needed no man, and we were going to have all of these wonderful futures. Now we can't survive, we can't find food, and we have to turn to the church and turn to Jesus. And women discover something very interesting, because the church is an organization that takes. It's not so much an organization that gives. When you need help, the church is not going to be there for you. That's the interesting thing. So even though a lot of women are going to find the church, what the church will tell them to do is to go and find a man. You heard me right. Because the church is just another form of the state. And the state wants to reallocate wealth and resources from men back to the state. So the state will use women to reallocate wealth and resources from men back to the state. But otherwise, the church has nothing for them. Just like the state. Women were not designed to live without a husband. I've said this before, and there are Sims in my comments who cannot believe this. A lot of women, especially young women today, they have no family. They have no family to return to. There is no home for them to return to. Their parents don't have it like that. You have to remember that the generations also overlap. But there are some Gen Zers right now who are also the children of boomers, or at least one of their parents are boomers or older Gen Xers. Starting next year, the first of Gen X will turn 60. 60, y'all. Many of these people don't have it. A lot of Gen Xers, they work their entire lives and they have nothing to show for it. And they're heading into retirement with no savings at all. They cannot take care of these kids. They cannot subsidize the living of these kids. These young women are going to be in horrible states of poverty and extraordinary destitution in the coming years.
I'm having a day. Or I'm having a life. I don't know, man. I just don't know what to do anymore. I'm sitting outside work, crying my eyes out in my vehicle. Because I can't function anymore. Financially, I don't understand anymore. I don't understand how I make $34 an hour and I can't function. I can't function. I can't pay my bills. I can't even literally keep gas in my car to get to work 3 days a week because I can't afford it. Like, I get paid and it goes to car, mortgage, a couple little bills, and then maybe $80 in food for the week. And I literally only buy groceries when my daughter's home now. On the weeks that she goes with her dad, which is Monday to Monday, what I've started doing is I buy a loaf of rye bread, and I work really hard to keep that one loaf of rye bread lasting me the whole week, and I eat peanut butter. So I'll eat peanut butter toast whenever I'm hungry. And it's been fine. It's been working just fine. I'm good with that. That's fine. But last week, I guess I was a little extra hungry a couple days, so I had toast in the morning and toast in the evening, which that's not in my budget. So I ran out of bread on like the Thursday or even the Friday, I don't know. Either way, at 47, I had to see if my mother could buy me a loaf of bread so that I could eat for the weekend before my daughter got home. Because if there's any food in the house, I'm not fucking eating one bit of it. I'm saving everything I can for her. Because then she gets home and she's not surviving a fucking toast. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit. I don't understand why things are so hard right now. I apparently make too much money to receive any financial benefits or help of any kind. I don't get GST. I don't get like the grocery benefit for single parents, even though I'm a single parent, but I apparently make too much money. I can't reach out to certain resources or any resources because I make too much money. You're going to die when I tell you what I pay for a mortgage right now. $400 every 2 weeks. And I'm dying. I have to renew my mortgage for February. And I already know that my mortgage will be less, but my payments are going to be probably $400 more a month. I don't know how to budget that in. I don't know what to do. I'm trying to sell stuff on Marketplace. I'm trying to find stuff for a yard sale. You know, I feel like I take 1 step forward and 8 steps back. Like, I get pushed back 8 steps. Not that I take 1 step back. I'm just being forced to go back. My crawl space in my house right now literally has like 8 inches of water in it. And it has for months. And it's like filled with mold. And so all I've been doing for the last few days is going online trying to figure out how I could get a septic pump. And then if I can actually sell enough stuff to afford one, then I have to learn how to install it. What? I literally have to learn how to install it. Because I don't have any help. I don't have anybody.
I remember seeing a video on YouTube, and basically this woman, she explained that she had learned how to do all of these things on her own. She went and got a home, and she did all of the construction on the house by watching YouTube videos. And, you know, she wants to say that she feels empowered and wonderful now after all the work that she did. She does not. She wishes that she could have spent most of her free time just making sandwiches and being feminine and taking care of a man, while he would be the one doing all of that construction work and you know, putting his body to work. Yeah, this was her feelings. There are other women who say, like, you know, they're doing all of this stuff around the house now, and, you know, physical stuff, and they're going to, you know, go post on TikTok later how excited they are and how empowered they feel doing it on their own. But the truth is that they're really going to be crying off to the side because they don't have a man to help them, and they would much rather have someone else to do this hard stuff for them so that they can just chill. Just because a woman can does not mean that a woman wants to. As men, we are wired to do things like build shit. Women are not wired for that stuff. That's not to say that women don't want to build stuff, but it's to say that most women would rather enjoy family life, domestic life. They would rather just basically chill in the house and be lazy and be taken care of. All right? Cook, clean, make sure, take care of the children. Most women would prefer to do those things. They would be happier. They value their free time more. That's not to say that a woman cannot go off into the world and do something else. That's not to say that a woman cannot create additional value in the world. But the simple truth is that most women would rather be doing something else. They would rather be in the home and creating a family. And that's the thing is, for example, look at the Filipinas. The Filipinas, they figured out what women in Western society have forgotten, and that is that the family is the center of their lives. A Filipina's family, even if a Filipina is a terrible person, it doesn't matter. For most Filipinos, for almost all Filipinas, her family is the center of her life because she knows no matter what happens, it will be her family that she can turn back to. You have entire communities of Filipino people who will live in cemeteries. So, for example, they'll bury a loved one, and they're sleeping right on top of on top of where they basically put them in. I don't know if it's called a mausoleum or whatever, and they all live in there. And even though they may not have a lot, they still have family. Women in Western society don't have any of these things. They have no family. They sold out. They sold their souls essentially to consumerism, and instant gratification in the present. There was a video by this kid named Baton Evans, and he basically made this girl, Only Fools girl, cry because he said to her, "Listen, dude, you're on Only Fools. You sold out your future, and it's like you don't even realize what you've done." There was another, and she's like, "Huh? What? I don't understand. This can't be for real, bro. You're a grown woman, and you don't realize that this is what you've done to your future." There was another guy who was talking to an Only Fools girl, and he told her, "Listen, you may be making money right now, but it's only temporary, okay? You're going to live a lot more life. You're in your 20s right now. You're going to be around for another maybe 50 years. And you're going to have to live with all of the shame and and everything else that comes with it and all the consequences of being on the platform." She broke down in tears immediately. And it's like she expected someone to comfort her. It's so crazy because when you go over to Twitter and you hear and there are guys talking about the consequences of Only Fools, there are a bunch of simps immediately attacking them. Guys, simps are evil. They're despicable people. And let me tell you something. When you, as a man, eventually you get to a point where you get tired of suffering, and you look at what you've done and you become so ashamed and disgusted with yourself because you allowed women to take advantage of you, to use you, to make you feel like almost like you are a woman. You're not a woman, but you feel weak. You feel effeminate. You feel emasculated. Okay? And you get to that point and you just don't want to live like that anymore because they tear you down. And there's some men who choose to live this way, but some men eventually say, like, "I can't do this anymore. I don't want to live like this anymore." And then that's when transformation can happen. That's when they're able to say, "You know what? I'm going to change. I'm going to change, and I'm going to repent," because it starts with repentance, repenting for sin, repenting for simping. All right, that repent for what you're doing. Repent to God, because don't forget that what's that guy's name? Adam. He was the very first simp, and he's the one who fucked it all up for us, guys. He's the one who fucked it all up for us. Okay, we were all once simps. We were all one simps, but that doesn't mean you should remain a simp. And be grateful for the knowledge that I'm bestowing upon you. Be grateful for the knowledge that people like Coach Greg Adams has bestowed upon you. Be grateful for all of this knowledge. Okay? Be grateful, even though Kevin Samuels is no longer with us. Be grateful for everything that he did. Because when we were growing up, all right, there was none of this information was there. We were fortunate if every so often an older guy would tell us something, or a bad kid from school would tell us something. Right now, you have Uncle Angry, all right, that bad uncle that your parents don't want you to know about. You have Uncle Angry, the guy who's gonna give you that first sip of beer, tell you take this, drink this, take a sip of that ice cold beer. How does that taste? Doesn't taste bad. All right, listen, see this right here? You drink one of these to relax. You don't drink this to get wasted. And I'm going to teach you about life. I'm going to teach you about people. All right? A lot of us didn't have these people. Thankfully, when I was growing up, I still had some of the greatest generation and silent generation around me. And I was able to learn things from them. And as I'm older now, things that I didn't understand when I was a kid at 8, I can understand now that they taught me. So I'm fortunate for that. And I can share that knowledge that they shared with me so long ago. And by the way, guys, if you're tired of feeling overlooked, disrespected, and stuck in relationships where you're doing all the work, it's time to take control and defeat the simp within you. That's why I created the Defeat the Simp Inside You course. This game-changing course teaches you how to recognize and eliminate simp behaviors that are holding you back from living confidently and embracing your masculine energy. In just a few powerful lessons, you'll learn how to stop chasing validation, set boundaries, and command the respect you deserve. Imagine finally breaking free from the cycle of simping and stepping into a life where you are in control of your relationships and your decisions. It's time to stop being the nice guy and start living with purpose and confidence. Click the link in the description to enroll now and start your transformation today.
They did not tell us that all of that, being my own person and I'm independent, would lead to separation, loneliness, celibacy, and lesbianism. They didn't tell us that if you give up the man, you're going to take one of these things and it's worse and it will destroy your nation. They made us think that it was some kind of glorified position to brag about the fact that I got my own job, my own credit card, my own car, so I don't need no man. I don't even know how we got that mixed up. Ain't none of that got nothing to do with being with no man. We have some serious relationship problems that nobody has been able to address us on because everybody wants to pretend that this is not going on. Over 60% of our women are single, widowed, separated, or divorced. They don't have a man.
Oh, no. But y'all don't do that. Y'all don't do that because our money and education.
See that man?
Stop talking over me.
But would you say that man is family?
Let me ask you a question, Edgar. Why are the passport bros not going to Sweden, Switzerland, Germany? Why are they going to Colombia, the Philippines, Malaysia, African countries? Why are they going there and not to Europe?
Because that's the choice that they choose.
No,
not every man. It can't be the wrong answer because you can't tell everybody where they're
modeled like the West. They're modeled like us, and they're not going to stand for their bullshit. So they go to these very, very poor countries where your $50,000 means the world in a third world country. And they bring them back here, and the women are subservient, and they do everything the man wants, but let me kid you not, when the women get a little education and an employment and learn the language, they might not frickin' stay. They use the men, the American men, the schmucks, as an outlet to get here.
So let me ask you a question.
Because why can't you find what you're looking for here if you're a good man, that is, right? If you're a good man.
Okay, I'll take part of what you said to reason why. Because you said that they take your little $50,000. See, maybe our 50,000.
Here it doesn't mean shit.
Hold on. But real. Exactly. See, it doesn't mean shit
here.
But if you listen, it doesn't mean shit to the women who not accepting and don't see.
Not when I make over six figures.
Wait, hold on. But it doesn't make sense to a woman.
Of course it does.
In that fact, when a man is working hard and putting in blood, sweat, and tears just to get his $50,000, see that woman
get a better job, do better.
See, but that don't appreciate it. You see how that is?
I did.
That's the reason why passport bros do what they do, because simply what you said, because they feel unappreciated for the hard work that they do.
And make more money.
And on top of that,
why is making more money important?
Have some emotional intelligence and make more money.
But why,
Edgar, you're trying to reason with the liberal. It's not going to work.
But why making more money is more important? Why is that more important?
What do you think 50,000 is going to buy in America with the state of the economy?
But he works hard for it. Well, how would you feel if somebody said that your little $50,000 don't make
I make double that, so it's irrelevant.
Not you, though. Not you. What about a woman that does it?
But how much was the woman from the other country making? But how much was the woman from the other country?
But what about a woman who makes $50,000 and that man said, "I'm not going to be with you because your little $50,000 don't mean shit."
But y'all don't do that. Y'all don't do that because our money and education.
That man?
Stop talking over me.
But would you say that man is? Would you say that man is horrible? Would you say that man is like he don't accept the woman?
I'm dropping you. That's it. I'm dropping you.
Girl, I just miss my man. He got the prettiest smile I've ever seen in my life, y'all. Like, every time I see him smile, I just be like, every time I see him smile, my world just really lights up because, girl, like, he just really deserves everything good that ever comes to him. He just so genuine and just so sweet, and I really love him down. You could never.
Hey baby, so I got a question for y'all. you know how y'all try to get out of taking women on dates and stuff, and, you know, that 50-50 thing, and that, you know, I don't really want to spend no money on somebody until I check their vibe out. Tell me, for all of you men that say things like that, or, you know, that have daughters, tell me what you would tell your daughter when she's of dating age. Would you tell her to accept that, or what? Like, let me know. Do you tell your daughter, hey, ain't no man gonna take you out on a date. You better be glad that he wants to chill at your house before anything. I just can't imagine that you're sitting there telling your little princess to deal with the bullshit that y'all try to put us through. Do you tell her that she needs to split the date when that little crusty little nigga take her on a date? Hey, baby girl, when you go on your first date with a guy, make sure you split that bill with him. Now, how damn stupid does that sound? And y'all try to do anything to get out of treating a woman like a woman. My thing is, do you want me to be the nigga in the situation, or you want me to be the lady?
We need to talk about the serious parts of the soft guy era. 90% of it is straight jokes. But that 10% is what is trying to be driven home by these men, and myself as well. In a world where women are making close to the same as men having to spend their damn near their entire paycheck just to provide for a woman who also has a job is bonkers. I've been seeing a lot of counterpoints that women make, like, guys who are financially stable have no problem providing for a woman. And there's a key point that they ignore on purpose. Regular adult who is financially stable might have, you know, $10,000 saved, has a car, an apartment, a house, wherever he lives, pays all his bills are on auto pay. But if he's normal here in this normal world in America, then he may, if he's lucky, have $1,000 left over at the end of the month for himself. Now, let's just say that a woman enters his life and she's one of those types that need a provider. She moves in with him, and all this, that, and the third. Now he has to pay everything. They kiss each other and go to work every day. He comes home, he's still paying for everything. Say he makes $5,000 a month and all his bills are $4,000 a month. He's still paying all the bills. He still has his $1,000 in his pocket at the end of every month, which he probably won't, but here's the serious part. Now listen up. If we are both making close to the same amount of money and you move into my life and I'm still paying all my bills, but you get away from the rent that you were paying to come into my life, how is that fair to me? The fact of the matter is, women know it's not fair because they would never do it. The whole he had his girl move in with him and help with his mortgage that his name is on. Sweetheart, would you ever save up for the down payment on the house, go through underwriting, get a whole mortgage, get a whole house, go through all that shit by yourself, have a man move in with you, and then not contribute to the bills of that house? Let's think about this. You would call that man a leech, because that's exactly what he would be. I know that we're all in our soft guy era. Nah, that's what that king should be doing. She should be a provider, woody woo. But let's be for real. A woman would never accept that. But y'all think a man should because you just heard on the internet that a man is a provider and a protector. I even heard a lady say, my husband give me a soft life because I give him a soft life. I massage his back when he get home and I cook for him. And y'all always argue like you could pay for all those things. But let's be real. Who's going to pay for a massage? Who's going to pay for a professional chef? You're not a professional masseuse. You're not a professional chef. That man was eating before you and he was living just fine without fucking massages every day. That massage and that trash ass food you cooking is not worth $3,000 of rent. You know how we all know it's not worth all the whole rent? Because if he said, you know what, stop massaging me and cooking for me, just pay the rent, I'd be all right without that stuff. You'd be like, what?
Society will collapse. You know, we're looking at the hard economic times, high inflation, you know, stagnating wage growth, and then Gen Z being total, just not too bright. This group of people are, you know, Gen Z and the younger millennials. And, you know, I'll admit, there's some decent younger millennials out there, but as a generation, Gen Z is bad. And we're seeing the suffering. Guys, the perspective of these people is just pretty terrible. You know, the real estate markets right now, the prices are extremely high. It's extremely difficult to own real estate. Okay, and a lot of that is because the boomers are holding on to everything. They're holding on to power. They're holding on to everything in the economy, and they're blaming everyone else and saying that it's not their fault and they have nothing to do with it, and that they did everything right, even when everything was handed to them. You have to understand that when you're dealing with a group of entitled people, they will never, ever see their entitlement. A handful of them do admit to it, but many of them will never see their entitlement. And when we say entitlement, it's so different. It's so difficult because it's, you have a lot of people who are like, oh, look how you're entitled. You were born with a golden spoon in your mouth. And they often say that to demonize men, but when that's not true. But no, in the case of the boomers, they were born into one of the best economy, if not the best economy in the history of the United States. They had everything handed to them. They had Social Security created for them. They had, they had for cheap education where they were able to work a summer job and pay for medical school. And then they turned around and they took the things that, we need to grow and to advance, and they raised the price of these things. They jacked it far up. They made education extremely expensive. They've made food extremely expensive. They've made home ownership extremely expensive. They've devalued the money. They're responsible for inflation skyrocketing, and they could care less about what happens to younger generations because they go, well, we had it. I didn't have it easy entirely growing up, so you guys are going to have to just figure it out for yourselves. But at the same time, it's just ridiculous. On the other hand, you have Gen Z who basically think that everything should be handed to them, and then they're living in the glory days. So they're demanding things that even the boomers didn't have.
I cannot stand how the news has been dogging Gen Z and calling them lazy for not wanting to work a 9-to-5 for the rest of their lives. Let me put it in perspective for everybody who's a little confused here, okay? I work 5 days out of the week, 40 hours a week, okay? I do not make enough to live on my own. I would not make enough to pay rent, water, electric, and eat. All by myself. I would not be capable of doing that. 20 years ago when you were getting started, you could live on your own. 20 years ago when you first started, you were able to do everything that I am now struggling to do. Let me add another perspective here. You've been working for 20 years. You have 20 years of working experience behind your belt. You have 20 years of experience in a career that has allowed you to gain raises, to get more money, to profit you in an economy that you created. You can sit here and you can call Gen Z lazy all you want, but I've been working my tail end off just to barely make it by. And respectfully, I don't want to do that for the rest of my life. I don't want to work my tail end off, wasting all of my life working just to barely be able to pay my bills. And that is what you created, not Gen Z. We're just here getting started. You've been doing it for the last 20 years. You tell me how it got ruined. We can sit here and we can call Gen Z lazy all you want, but you let the economy turn into what it did. You let it all run to hell. And now it's Gen Z's fault because we don't want to work to fix your mistakes.
They think that they're entitled. They should be able to step out of college at age 22 and immediately go and purchase a home at their first job. Are they being underpaid? Are they being underpaid or unfairly paid in many of these positions? Yes. Okay. Because there's been a lot of stagnated wage growth. But then at the same time, these are the same people who want large amounts of pay for small amounts of labor or for low skilled work, which is ridiculous. Like, they think they should be leaving college and making $170,000 a year. And it's like, I don't know what reality these people live in. And their response is, well, inflation is very, very high. And, I don't know. And then they're also trying to say things like, well, I should be able to work at McDonald's and purchase a home. My grandfather worked at a supermarket bagging groceries, and he was able to purchase a home for $45,000. And it's like, bro, what year was that? 1945? Like, these people they're not telling the truth. They're absolutely not telling the truth, and they're jealous of everyone. And you can't reason with Gen Z. Most of them you can't reason with. There's a handful of them that'll come and and say that they'll talk to you and they'll try to learn from you. But the vast majority of them you can't reason with them because everyone older than them is a boomer, which is frightening. These people are crazy. So, for example, if a Gen Zer is 20, 25 years old and he's dealing with a person who is 35 or 40, they're like, you're a boomer. You're a boomer. You know, we're the future. You're a boomer. It's like, bro, I'm only 15 years older than you. I don't know if I'm 15 years older than you. Do you seem to think that that means that you're going to have 30 or 40 years of life over me? Like, like this is one of the things like I don't comprehend with Gen Z. Like they think like they're going to like they're the future. Like what are you talking about, Gen Z? What are you talking about? If I'm only 15 years older than you, why are you acting like you're going to live 30 or 40 years longer than me? Especially when you guys are passing away faster than all of the previous generations. Sometimes combined. Like, who the hell do you think you are? Like you guys are doing really, really bad. You know? It's like you're not on planet Earth right now. You know, there's this comment I saw. This was from Gen Z. You know, this was on my video. Gen Zers are crooks. This was from Arm. He says, honestly, both Gen Z and millennials can't change a light bulb or reset the electrical switch to save themselves among things. Just a maintenance observation. So then we have someone responds, probably a Gen Zer, who says, isn't that your job though, if you are maintenance? To which Arm responded, no, people have been changing their own light bulbs forever, and the switch is inside their own apartment. Gen Z these people are lunatics. These people are absolutely lunatics. When it comes to changing a switch, if I have to, especially in today's day and era, if I have to change a switch, I can go onto YouTube, watch a video on YouTube, which will show me how to change the damn switch. Okay? Granted, I try to leave most things related to electrical wiring to electricians. But if I'm in a situation where I need to change something and I need to do it on my own, yeah. But then changing a light bulb? Guys, Gen Z can't change a light bulb. A light bulb, y'all. A light bulb. They'll turn around and say, isn't that a job for maintenance? A light bulb?
The truth of the matter is that modern women are not prepared whatsoever for the hell on earth that is now about to arrive for all of us. Because the dollar is not going to recover. It's only going to continue to collapse, go downward until it fully collapses. The dollar will collapse. Don't think it won't. We are heading for a major economic collapse. When I've talked about 10 cities in the past and Tyrone being king of 10 cities, people think it's funny. It's very, very true. And like I said, guys, if you have any simp in you, you need to get rid of that shit. All right? You need to get that weakness outside of you. Get the weakness outside of you. Go and check out my Defeat the Simp Within course, linked in the description. Because, guys, you need to get that shit out of you. We're heading for some seriously hard, horrendous, miserable times. A lot of women are going to find themselves in extreme states of poverty, destitution, despair. Guys, like what, living in shelters, living in their cars, living in the woods, it's only going to be downhill from there because the average woman was not designed to live without a husband, and the government is not going to have money to subsidize these women. I told you, women operate as agents of the state, but they are rewarded for reallocating wealth and resources from men to the state, and they do that through divorce court, family court, civil court, whatever else. It doesn't matter. The court incentivizes them and rewards them for doing it. But if they fail to do this, then they're fucked. All right? And they're up a creek without a paddle. Just like one of my subscribers said, and this is what a lot of men are going to say to them: you chose the bear, so go hang out in the forest. Guys, do you agree that many women are going to be heading for extraordinary states of destitution and despair as more and more men just basically stay home and chill? Society is beginning to freak out and notice that a considerable number of men are no longer working. And that's freaking, guys, the average man can live in a shoebox happily at the side of the road. The average woman cannot. As we get older, we age like wine. As women get older, the analogy involves milk. What do you guys think regarding all of this? And do you agree that hard times are here for women? Let me know your thoughts and we'll talk about it in the comments. Like the video if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you like the video, share the video. And just remember that all roads lead to MWA Men walking away. And cheers.